Welcome to our webinar, Teenage Pregnancy Prevention. Hello everyone, good morning. Before we formally start, let me remind you that a recorded version of this webinar will be posted at Ascot Guidance and Counseling Facebook page. The evaluation link will be posted at the end of the webinar. You will be given 45 minutes to answer the evaluation. Please answer immediately. This will be our basis in preparing your e-certificates. Adolescence is a stage where teenagers adjust in their physical and emotional changes in life, according to Learner 2004. Teenagers prefer to go out with peers rather than with their parents due to strong peer pressure. One of the issues that they may encounter is teenage pregnancy, in which it causes dropouts among female students. So the objectives of this webinar is to educate our students to become aware of sexual health education, to prevent unplanned pregnancies and decrease school dropouts. So today, our speaker is a medical specialist. She is a graduate of BS Biology at Far Eastern University. She took her medical degree at Our Lady of Fatima University, College of Medicine. She finished her master's in hospital administration at Wesleyan University. She successfully completed her residency training in internal medicine at Premier Medical Center, Cabanatuan City. Currently, she's working at Aurora Memorial Hospital as medical specialist. She's also the medical retainer of the 91st Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army. And presently, she is our Ascot College physician. So let's all welcome Dr. Marilyn R. Gante Escoto.
Good day to all of you. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic among teenagers or young adults like you. We are hoping that by tackling this subject, we will be able to share knowledge and information about teenage pregnancy. Our objectives for today is to define what teenage pregnancy is, to know how teenage pregnancy becomes a global problem as well as our country's leading problem, to know the factors that causes teenage pregnancy, to discuss its effects and complications, and to know the different interventions in preventing pregnancy. The World Health Organization defines teenage pregnancy as pregnancy in a woman ages 10 to 19 years of age. It is also called the adolescent pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy is referred to women who became pregnant who have not reached legal adulthood. Around 12 million girls aging 15 to 19 years of age gets pregnant. More than 700,000 girls under 15 years of age gives birth each year in developing countries. Around 10 million unintended pregnancies occur each year among adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 in developing world. Pregnancy and childbirth complications is the leading cause of death among teenage girls. $5.6 million abortions occur each year among adolescent girls, and because abortion is unlawful to some countries, an average of 3 million abortions are unsafe. Our country has the second highest rate of teenage pregnancy in Southeast Asia. According to Philippine Statistics Authority, an estimated of 538 babies are born to Filipino teenage mothers every single day. One in 10 young Filipino women aged 15 to 19 is already a mother or pregnant with the first child. Studies conducted by government agencies showed that teenage mothers were more likely to have premature and underweight babies. They may suffer from chronic poverty and unlikely to achieve higher educational attainment. These are some factors of teenage pregnancy: peer pressure, early initiation to sexual activity, limited access to sexual education and sexual health services, lack of parental supervision, exposure to suggestive or explicit media, films, magazine, and music, failure to comply with religious principles. Causes of teenage pregnancy: lack of information about sexual and reproductive health and rights, inadequate access to services tailored for the young people, family, community, and social pressure to marry, sexual violence, child, early and forced marriage, and lack of education or dropping out of school. Lack of education or lack of information. There is poor, inadequate, and suppressed awareness in fertility, adolescent sexuality, and development. Some teenagers don't even know they got pregnant because they don't know how their body works. Inadequate access to services tailored for young people. Issues such as family planning, birth controls, and abortions are usually met with resistance. It is due to our largely Christian Philippines where talk of family planning is met with outrage by religious sectors. Family, community, and social pressures to marry. Most of the time, girls discloses feelings of repression, loneliness, and indifference to their parents, which leads to unprotected sexual relationship without fear of pregnancy. Almost all of these young women claims that they were seeking love outside the family. This reveals a scenario of limited communication and unsatisfactory relationship within the family. Sexual violence or sexual abuse. There is high prevalence of sexual abuse among pregnant teenagers. Due to sexual abuse, it increases the risk of adolescent pregnancy. Approximately 15 million adolescent girls worldwide experience forced sexual intercourse or other sexual acts. Sexual abuse leads to unwanted pregnancy as teenage girls who have forced into sex are less likely to have the opportunity or choice to use contraception. Child, early, and forced marriage. There are no specific laws in the Philippines addressing child or forced marriage. Many adolescent brides experience health risk caused by early pregnancy or repeated pregnancies before they become physically and psychologically ready for motherhood and childbirth. Here are some effects of teenage pregnancy. depression, medical complication, emotional distress, worries of the future, delayed education, smoking drugs, exhaustion, neglect of baby, and trouble with finances. Health risk of teenage pregnancy: premature birth, babies born with a low birth weight, problems with breastfeeding, anemia or low iron levels during pregnancy, high blood pressure, emotional and health problems like depression and postpartum blues. So how do we prevent teenage pregnancy? First, know your personal values about sex and abstinence. Of course, if there's no sex, there's no pregnancy. Second, the perception of peer norms and sexual behaviors. Third, knowledge of sexual issues, HIV, other STDs, and pregnancy, including methods of prevention. Fourth is the perception of HIV risk. And fifth, the ability to refuse sex and use of condom. Another way of preventing teenage pregnancy is sexual education. Sexual education aims to make young people like and respect themselves. It helps learners to see sexuality as a natural and positive part of life. It also teaches skills to make informed and responsible decisions. And it explores different values and attitudes. So how do teenagers protect themselves from pregnancy? These are some protective factors. First, you have to have the intention to abstain from sex or limit the number of partners. You should have communication with your parents or other adults about sex, condoms, and contraceptions. You should have the ability to avoid risky behaviors, have the ability to avoid HIV and other STD diseases. Avoid places or situations that may lead to sex. And if ever you have sex, use condoms. According to Director Osatimehin, Director of UN Population Fund Executive, every young girl, regardless where she lives or her economic circumstances, has the right to fulfill her human potential. Too many girls are denied that right. We can change that, and we must. Here are some interventions that may prevent teenage pregnancy. First, increase in knowledge by sexual education. This would help teenagers to understand their sexuality and body changes. Second are behavioral changes. First, avoidance of risky behaviors, practice of protective behaviors, and utilization of services like family planning. Many successful strategies to prevent adolescent pregnancy include community programs to improve social development, responsible sexual behavior education, and improve contraceptive counseling and delivery. Many of these strategies are implemented at the family and community level. DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones said, "In public schools, it may not be a policy to kick out students, but there are schools which automatically kick out children who get pregnant and automatically destroy their lives. This is where enrichment comes in. You have the right to go back to school, and you have the right to be treated humanely. The Comprehensive Sexuality Education, or the Senate Bill 1334, entitled Prevention of Adolescent Pregnancy Act of 2020, proposed by Senator Risa Ontiveros. This bill calls the mandatory teaching of comprehensive sexuality education in schools. This emphasizes the need to educate the youth on sexuality issues and to shield them from wrong influences. It is working together of parents, students, teachers, guidance counselors, and school supervisors. It emphasizes the need of our youth to tap the right informative campaign coupled with the guidance of parents, teachers, and local government officials. The Department of Education is prohibiting the penalizing of students in public schools because of pregnancy. The school should have a designated guidance counselor that would counsel teenagers about pregnancy and other problems. Promotion of proper prenatal care. Once a teenager becomes pregnant, she should seek prenatal care regularly. She should get tested for sexually transmitted infections, eat a healthy diet, stay physically active, gain weight wisely, and avoid risky substances. So we will answer questions from our students. So, ano ang kadalasang dahilan ba't maagang nagbubuntis? Of course, as previously been discussed, it is peer pressure, lack of parental supervision, lack of knowledge about sexual education, exposure to explicit media, failure to comply with religious principles. So, follow-up question, ano ang pwedeng maging solusyon dito? Of course, you have to gain your knowledge about sexual education. You should have an open communication with parents. And I do believe para ma-prevent ang pregnancy is to abstain from sex. No sex, no pregnancy. Next question. When is the best time to get pregnant? So, expert says that the best time to get pregnant is between your late 20s and early 30s. Sabi, this age range is associated with the best outcomes for both the mother and the baby. Okay, other questions were already discussed during the presentation. So I will end this presentation with a saying, teenagers are supposed to be changing the world, not changing diapers. Thank you so much. This ends my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Doc. Good morning. Thank you very much for being our speaker. So, in behalf of Ascot family, we would like to award the Certificate of Appreciation. Republic of the Philippines, Aurora State College of Technology, Balera Aurora, awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Marilyn Argante Escoto for sharing her time, knowledge, and expertise as speaker during the Teenage Pregnancy Prevention Seminar on October 30, 2020. Given this 30th day of October 2020, signed Dr. Eutikio L. Rotaque Jr. Ascot, President. To our students and participants, thank you very much for joining us with this webinar entitled Teenage Pregnancy Prevention. Reminder lamang po sa ating mga participants, please answer the evaluation form. We will send the e-certificates at your email. Pakicheck lamang po yung ating spelling ng pangalan para hindi po magkamali yung ating certificates. Maraming salamat po sa ating speaker, Dr. Marilyn Argantes Coto, for sharing her time and expertise. Sana po sa susunod po uli. Sa ating mga participants na hindi po nasagot ang mga katanungan, pasensya na po, with lack of time. We will try to post na lang po sa ating Facebook page. Muli, maraming salamat po sa ating mga boss na sumuporta sa ating webinar. Sa ating pong President, Dr. Eutikio Rotacio Jr. Salamat sir sa pag-approve nitong ating program. Sa ating dalawang Vice Presidents, Dr. Josep B.O.V. Angara and Forester Michelle Risueño. Thank you ma'am and sir. Sa ating pong accounting unit headed by Ma'am Pao. Thank you po. Sa ating supply and PMU unit. Salamat din po sa ating mga department directors na tumulong mag-disseminate ng information sa ating mga students at sa ating SAS Director, Sir Von, and syempre sa kasama nating technical personnel, Ma'am Lara. Salamat po. Salamat po sa paggawa ng mga posters natin. At maraming salamat po sa mga susunod po sana mga programs ng Guidance and Counseling Office. Asahan po namin ang inyong suporta. God bless po and stay safe.